What is a great discovery? Forbes magazine describes it thus with a quote from Claude Bernard, known as the founder of modern medicine. A great discovery is a fact whose appearance in science gives rise to shining ideas, whose light dispels many obscurities and shows us new paths. There are never-ending great discoveries in astronomy, and it would seem that almost every culture in history was perhaps ahead of its own time in regards to scientific developments to do with the heavens. So let's jump in our time travel machine and go on a great discovery journey. In honor of International Indigenous Peoples Day on the 21st of June, we will start our journey in Majorville, Alberta, 4,500 to 5,000 years ago at what may be the oldest known medicine wheel. Medicine wheels served many purposes, often religious and ceremonial, but the wheels also accurately predicted the summer solstice. In Wyoming, at Bighorn Medicine Wheel, archaeoastronomer Jack Eddy discovered that the arrangement of the cairns and spokes holds special celestial significance. Eddy suggested that when the wheel was built by Plains tribes between 300 and 800 years ago, it served to predict positions of the sun and other bright stars in the sky around the summer solstice. When sitting in one cairn and looking towards another, the observer's vision is drawn to a specific point on the horizon. Eddy found that 2 points determined by different cairn alignments corresponded to the places in the sky where the sun rose and set on the summer solstice, the longest day of the year. Furthermore, other lines of sight created by the cairn combinations marked the heliacal risings of the bright stars, Aldebaran, Rigel, and Sirius. A heliacal rising is an important event because it pinpoints an exact calendar date. This event occurs when a star first reappears at dawn after it has been washed out by the sun's light for an entire season. At Bighorn, for instance, Aldebaran's heliacal rising occurs just a few days before the solstice. Rigel then rises at dawn 28 days, or 1 lunar month, after Aldebaran, and Sirius rises another 28 days after Rigel. It is known that the number 28 is sacred among some tribes because of its association with the lunar cycle. There are 28 spokes in a medicine wheel, as well as in the roofs of some ceremonial buildings. Whether or not the builders of the wheel at Bighorn were aware of the 28-day intervals between the heliacal risings mentioned above, it is not certain, but it seems very likely. Now we are off to Mexico, to the Mayan city of Chichen Itza, where the Caracol Observatory stands as a monument to the architectural skill of the ancient Maya civilization, as well as an indicator of the Mayan people's interest in astronomy. Caracol, which translates to spiral-shaped, or more literally snail, is named after the winding staircase that rounds the interior of the central tower. Caracol's crumbling viewing tower rises above the lush jungle, so ancient astronomers could have viewed the stars in 360 degrees, tracking solstices, equinoxes, and eclipses. An amazing extra is the alignment of the remaining viewing windows. They seem to be designed specifically to track the appearance and disappearance of Venus in the night sky. In addition to assigning the second planet some religious significance, the Mayans were able to track the movements of Venus and thus measure longer intervals of the Earth's orbit. Heading now to Greece, it was discovered that for over 2,000 years, a shipwreck lay off the coast of the Greek island of Antikythera, its hidden treasures slowly corroded by the Mediterranean. It wasn't until 1900 that sponge divers happened upon the loot and found therein a perplexing device of remarkable engineering, though the divers had no idea how truly remarkable it was at the time. The device sat in a museum for 50 years before historians began to even take a serious look at it. Known as the Antikythera mechanism and called a clockwork computer, this small bronze instrument is unique because it precedes any machine of comparable complexity by more than a millennium. The mechanism was built around 200 BC, and with over 30 gears hidden behind its dials, it is easily the most advanced technological artifact of the pre-Christian period. Regarded as the first known analog computer, the mechanism can make precise calculations based on astronomical and mathematical principles developed by the ancient Greeks. Although its builder's identity and what it was doing aboard a ship remain mysteries, most consider it very unlikely that the Antikythera mechanism was a navigational tool. The harsh environment at sea would have presented a danger to the instrument's delicate gears, and features such as eclipse predictions are unnecessary for navigation. The mechanism's small size, however, does suggest that it was designed with portability in mind. According to some researchers, a more plausible story is that the mechanism was used to teach astronomy. To use the instrument, you would simply enter a date using a crank, and when the gears stopped spinning, a wealth of information appeared at your fingertips. The positions of the sun, moon, planets, and stars, the lunar phase, the dates of upcoming solar eclipses, the speed of the moon through the sky, and even the dates of the Olympic Games. Perhaps most impressively, the mechanism's calendar dial could compensate for the extra quarter day in the astronomical year by turning the scale back one day every 4 years. Now, for people like Mike of the Sunday Night Astronomy Show or my brothers, on Instructables.com there are complete instructions called Hacking the Antikythera to create your own working model. For those of us who perhaps are a little daunted by the task of creating a working Antikythera model, there is a wonderful Aurora Hat pattern one can knit, with the colors following the Aurora Altitudes. Winter will come back, so we better start on one now. And who knows where we will astro travel to the next time? It could be cold there.